I know you have your blog, which has been exciting to follow. And I think something that could be really helpful for our listeners is you've been talking about shot calling recently. Now, we don't have people in our community that's super, super hardcore. I don't believe we're trying to get into the LCS and create an amateur organization or anything like that. That being said, we have community games where we play and the community likes to play with each other. And a lot of them also like to go into SoloQ, where shot calling is a totally different beast as well. What kind of input can you give, or what can we talk about to help people become better shot callers in a more, let's say, casual environment where they just feel like they want to help the team, but they're not going to spend, hours and hours doing research and practicing it and trying to become a quote unquote professional in it?
Okay, so you're asking for shot calling tips for casual gamers that just want to enjoy their games but improve a little bit their communications or calling and so on. Okay. So I would say if you're going in SoloQ, don't try to shot call. Actually,
Okay. Why is that?
If you try, because people normally when you type to people or you're winning, so if you're carrying the game, then you can ping people, say go here, go there, gank here, and then they will follow. But if you are dying or you're not having a particularly good game, they will think, okay, why I'm going to listen to this guy that it's terrible. Right? So you should not be trying to shot call in SoloQ. And normally the most efficient way of winning in in SoloQ around communication is muting most of the people. And communicating only with pings. That would be my suggestion. And maybe if you want to write something, always stay super positive and write good job, well done, or stuff like this, right? But don't expect to shot call in SoloQ because it's 5 people with 5 different plans, and there's no guarantee that no one is going to follow no one. Right? So just with pings, you can get the bare minimum coordination. Okay, if you want to have some fun with friends and kind of coordinate your communication, so I would say that you need to know what kind of people your friends are, because there's people that it's open-minded and are willing to follow, but there's also people that aren't willing to follow. So in general, the easiest thing is to make questions and make suggestions. But also it's important that these five people accept someone as the final call. So if there's different people feeding information and making suggestions, and one person has the final call and everyone respects his final call, even if it's a wrong call, the five guys will follow that call and will execute that call. And normally, even though if it's a suboptimal call, it would be fine. The main issue happens when there's a call and then there's another call and then 2 guys go here and another go here and then another one is farming on the lane and then to die and start flaming the guy that it's farming on the lane. You know what I mean? That's the big issue. So these 2 things. So accept someone as the final call, not even the shot caller, just the final call that this guy says, yes, let's do this. And then the rest of the people feed information about what they are doing about the enemies and suggest. Hey, we should do this. Oh, I think we should do that. Oh, this guy is alone in the lane. I think we can kill him or whatever. Okay. But when people are arguing, someone has to have the final call. And this way, the team would be much more coordinated.
Yeah, I think a really good point that you made with that is not that the rest of it wasn't good points, but following a call that might be suboptimally altogether. It's something we talk about a lot on the podcast because there are plenty of times to outplay and misplay by both teams. But if you have a cohesive unit doing something together, it just increases the chances of that working out in your benefit. Right? Yeah, exactly. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So, I really totally feel that. It's something that's we see that a lot in our community games because, it's just people casually playing. Some people don't hear what's going on or don't register it. And we have a lot of personalities that are conflicting as well in some of the games. So something that definitely happens, just following the call is really, really important. Even if it turns out bad, at least you all did it together and you can hash it out later.
Yeah. What about something? Sorry to interrupt. Something really important on this side is that shot calling should be thought as a skill. So it's something that you need to practice. But the only way of practicing shot calling is that if people follow you, because if you make a call, but then some people don't follow you, then you are not practicing that call because you don't really reach the end point of that call. You don't know if it was correct. You can theory craft if it was correct, but you actually don't see what's going on. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to shot call and people don't follow, then you are not practicing your skill, and you need to invest time on it. And once you start doing this, then you can do things like optimizing your communication, like changing your wording or creating a hierarchy of communication. Like you can do much more things. But everyone needs to understand it. Like if you accept someone in your team that to have the last call, you need to let him have the last call. Because if you don't let him have the last call, then this guy is not going to practice, so he will not improve. And that's really important.
And I think if you always think that person's an idiot and making the bad call, they never get that feedback that it's a bad call because you all don't follow it as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's super important.
Cool. Is there anything?
Let him fail.
Go ahead. Yeah,
that's it.
Is there anything that you see that might be more common that people are doing absolutely wrong that they need to kind of check themselves when it comes to shot calling?
I would say there's two main things. And actually, I will write an article about this in the future. So one is wording. So what words you use to say something. So if you say, let's say that you are playing Alistar and you can roam mid, okay? So if you say, I can roam mid doesn't mean that you are roaming mid. So if you're roaming mid, you say, I'm roaming mid, or I'm going mid, or in 10 seconds, I'm mid.
Yeah.
You know? So the words you choose to say what modify a lot what the other side receives. Mm-hmm. So your message has to use the fewer words, the better, and has to be extremely specific.
I see.
So I'm mid lane in 15 seconds. It's specific.
Yeah.
I can go mid. It's not specific. Mm-hmm. It says that maybe you do it or maybe don't. You don't know. But if you tell your mid laner that you're going mid in 15 seconds, then he's aware of this and he can use this information.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that a lot when we're just like, hey, we should take bottom turret, or we should do dragon. That is a very, yes, we should. What does that mean?
Okay, what we do now? And then two go to the tower, two go to dragon, one goes somewhere else, then the two at the tower get killed, then you don't take dragon. Yeah, of course, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and the second thing is that the shot caller needs to understand what the other side is understanding. So, for example, if let's say you're on the bot lane and you just kill the bot lane and you're taking the tower, and you want your mid laner to hide on fog of war, so the enemy jungler doesn't come to the tower to defend the tower, right? So if you tell your mid laner, hey, hover on the bottom side so we can blah blah blah, and then you start building a sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the message is clear, even if you use a few words, but you need to think what the mid laner is doing. But let's say that your mid laner is trying to kill enemy mid laner and he's having a conversation with your jungler. Then you need to understand what they are doing. So at that situation, maybe you have to be extremely direct and kind of forceful, right? Okay. You should say, come here now, and then you ping. Go here now, ping, and you ping. Right? Yeah. You should not try to explain him what to do and what you're doing and so on. So you need to put yourself in the position of the other guy. So the other guy can execute what you need, right? And many times the shot callers say a message that it's kind of clear, but they don't have in mind that the other player is doing something, you know? And this is important. As a shot caller, you need to have a overview of what everyone is doing, and need to be empathic in this way. You need to understand what they are thinking and how they are feeling about the situation, and then you can become a better shot caller. This is complicated, of course. This is like a thing that I would expect like elite level shot callers be able to do, and not casual shot callers to do. But once you fix your wording, then you can fix this of kind of knowing what your teammates are doing and how you have to communicate depending on what they're doing. And of course, level your expectations depending on what they are doing at that moment and what you want to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think a lot of lane, like the whole lane to jungle relationship, especially in SoloQ, is like, oh, jungler's not camping the enemy jungler is camping my lane. Why isn't my jungler here? Or it's like, oh, my laners are so dumb, they're feeding, and there's no understanding of like what is actually going on. Why did those things happen? Oh, the jungler actually is camping top lane because we have a Riven that needs to snowball or something like that. There's a lack of empathy, and I think that's a huge thing, and that's a very very difficult thing, especially in solo queue. And even with your friends, it's also a really tough thing because everyone's so focused on what they're trying to do. And there's a lot to focus on. There's a lot to learn, a lot to concentrate on. I mean, there's a reason why people don't watch their map because it is hard and it's a skill. So adding communication and shot calling to it is definitely a difficult thing.
Yes. And I would advise to always think that anything that happens on the map is your fault.